We're unmuted.
I always wait until I see us for me to unmute you guys because of how you guys are.
Hey, there it is. That's awesome.
These dudes. So hello.
Especially coming from you two, because you're the babies.
Anyway, so
it's true though.
I mean, you're not wrong. But everybody, welcome back to the Wannabes podcast, or thank you for tuning in if it's your first time. But we are your hosts. I'm Morgan. That's Luke, and that's
Twitch
Dreaded.
And YouTube.
Yeah, we are live
shout out to YouTube. We
on Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, so tonight's a fun special night. Usually we review a movie. I do have some entertainment news that we're going to discuss before we get into our main part of the show. But tonight is a little different. Instead of reviewing a film, we're actually going to be discussing what films or shows or just what type of, filmmaking or show making content got us into filmmaking and why we are filmmakers and why we wanted to become filmmakers. What was our inspirations behind us wanting to get into this craft? So
what got the juices flowing?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're gonna get to that momentarily and we're gonna get to news momentarily because Luke, you have a big announcement.
Oh yeah,
that he's not prepared to talk about with that.
It's actually, it's ironic given what we're going to talk about here later because I am currently working on a film. It is a labor of love that I've been working on for at least 5 years. It has been a long process. We have gone through many stages of stops and starts. Gone through the typical BS that goes through on a film when filmmaking, excuse me. But right now we have exciting news. We have a crowdfunding campaign that we have started. It is on Crowdfunder with an R after the D. And we're trying to get some help getting this done. It isn't much that we're asking for. And obviously anybody that checks this out, you do not have to donate, but if you could spread the word, pass it on, maybe you know somebody that might be interested in helping us out, because we have right now about 40% of the movie done, but the next 60% of the film is where it really starts to get more complicated and where we could really use some help. So there are some very nice perks that we're offering for those that do donate. It's all listed on the site. Anything will help if you feel like you do want to partake. And, find us on Instagram, instagram.com/crawlspace, and shout us out, give us some love, let us know that you checked out our stuff, and, that can be it. And then if you feel a little extra, help us out. But also check out those perks. We do really have some cool perks that we're offering.
There's some really good support tiers stuff.
And we would love it. This is something, like, for me, this is something that I really want to do. At the end of the day, if I can just say, like, I got it done, that'd be awesome. It's going to get done regardless, but the more help we get, the better it can be. And we have some really cool stuff that we want to do that are just a little out of our reach right now. So check out the campaign. Shout us out on Instagram. Let us know what you think. And share it with everybody you know. I'm not even kidding. Share it with everybody. The more eyes, the better. And I appreciate you very much in advance. Thank you.
Yeah. And as I've told even like friends and family, guys, if you can't financially afford to help, just sharing it is help enough.
Yeah, asking people for money for something like this is tough, and I understand if people are like, no. But that's what I'm saying. If you could just share it and get the word out, that's just as good, and maybe even better, because who knows where that's going to lead. But Morgan is officially on the staff now. She's going to be our script supervisor, and we're going to find some other things for her to do. Anthony has been helping out with the film. He was a camera operator on the first 40% that we have done. It's been a blast. Anthony can attest to it. He's been on the set a few times.
I would like to just share some words that was actually the first time I actually been on a, I suppose, somewhat movie set, and I had the greatest time doing so. And I will love to come back to be a camera operator and work with you guys on anything.
It's been a lot of fun for everybody involved. I have a great cast. I have a great crew. We're trying to expand it because things are going to get more complicated. So either way, this thing's getting done, and we're going to bring it to you regardless. But, we can make it better, and that's where we're asking for a little bit of help. So thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, y'all.
Yeah. With that, we're going to get on over into our new segment of the night because I have a few things that I want to talk about. They're not anything major and like super long. I don't think we might surprise ourselves. Let's be honest. But first things first, I am going to start on a bit of a sad note.
Somber.
Yeah. So if anybody is familiar with Michelle Trachtenberg, I hope I said that right. She was the star of Harriet the Spy, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a big one that I loved, Gossip Girl, and plenty more. She sadly has passed away at the age of 39. Too young. But there's still, basically the coroners are trying to figure out why, but it is believed to have been due to maybe a potential rejection of her liver because she recently got a liver transplant. So currently that is what we think the potential cause of death was, but we don't know for sure just yet. But sad news. I know that I loved her in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I grew up.
That's wild to hear. It really is wild to hear. Just, I mean, even the fact that she had a liver transplant at 39, like that's wild too. But I mean, hey, maybe she just kind of lived that life. But Pete and Pete was my jam.
I mean, there's other reasons why you get liver transplants, so
sure. Buffy, I am familiar with, but that wasn't ever my thing. Eurotrip is probably my favorite thing that she's in.
That just surprises me that you're not a big Buffy person.
And well, I mean, my man that plays Spike played Piccolo in a movie that we won't talk about, but you know. And she's in the really fucked up Black Christmas movie that I kind of dig because of how messed up it is, but that's a whole nother story. Maybe we'll get to that someday here on the show. But yeah, no, I was a fan, and she's probably one of my first celebrity crushes, honestly.
She's cute as fuck.
Fire, but she was very, very beautiful. So yeah, that does suck that she's no longer with us, but hey, whatever was wrong with her, I mean, I'm glad that, you know, she doesn't have to deal with it anymore. So there's that.
R.I.P. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't even really know who she is, but R.I.P.
She's one of those. She's got one of those faces, man. I'm sure if we pulled something up somewhere, you'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of one of those. Like, I didn't even know she was in as much stuff as she's in, honestly.
But
I'm looking at a list of things she's been in, and I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't seen a lot of those actually. Although I do know of stuff like Cop Out, 17 Again, Black Christmas, which I didn't watch the movie. I watched the Dead Meat channel, like kind of kill count of that.
Yeah, that movie's so messed up. Do yourself a favor, watch Pete and Pete.
Okay.
Or curse me out. I don't know.
Well, there's a interesting thing come up. We all like Avatar, you know, The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. Like, we have our loves for it. So, if you guys haven't heard, there's actually a new Avatar series that's being announced, and it's set to take place after the events of The Legend of Korra. So, this announcement comes from Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I'm gonna fuck it. It's fine. I don't know. That might have been right. I don't know.
Creators.
But they are the creators of the series, and they have announced Avatar 7 Havens. It is a 26 episode 2D animated series following a young earthbender who is the next Avatar following Avatar Korra. I have heard that it is meant to be kind of more like taking place after a bunch of catastrophic events that has happened to the world. So yeah, I thought this was really interesting, and for my Avatar fans, whether out of my co-hosts and in chat, how do you feel about it?
I would like to say the only thing I've really heard is that TikTokers have been quoting, "What did you do, Korra? What did you fuck up now?" That is all I've heard. So I have not dived into what this was. I heard about it. I didn't dive into it because after Legend, I'm gonna be real with you, I was not feeling Legend of Korra. So if I don't want to be that guy, but I'm starting to feel like if it's not Team Avatar, like Aang and them, I don't know if I'm gonna love it.
That's fair. I feel like Legend of Korra for me had really high moments that I liked, and then some pretty lower moments where I just wasn't a bigger fan of it. Especially if comparing it to Team Avatar Aang. And I'm curious to see what happens. I'm definitely going into this with an open mind because at least it's being backed by the creators. So that's a good sign, is that this announcement is coming from the Avatar The Last Airbender creators themselves. So I'm curious. My biggest thing is curiosity is how I feel about this. It could be good. Who knows? I'm
We will
very curious to
see.
see what happens.
I would like to see a bit more of what they're going to go into, but
they're keeping it
at
a
the
little
moment,
more cryptic. I know there was an interview, but they kind of talked about everything that we've already kind of roughly talked about with maybe a little bit more detail. Barely.
gotcha. Anyway, the most thing I'm excited for more Avatar is the live action series season 2 because I really like that live action series.
How do you feel, Luke? Any feelings?
I'm kind of indifferent. Like, I do like the show. I do like the property. I enjoy The Last Airbender. I did get into that show. And I did watch the first season of Korra, which I thought was very good. But it's just one of those things that it's just kind of skipped me. The Shyamalan movie definitely put a bad taste in my mouth. I have yet to watch the Netflix show. I hear good things. And like you, Anthony, I've listened to a lot of stuff on TikTok, and it has me intrigued with how they've been describing it. So I'm like, all right, well, I didn't even know this was coming, but I mean, what you're saying sounds actually kind of right up my alley. So we'll see. I'll wait until more stuff comes out. And I'm sure once it comes out, I will attempt to catch up and be ready to go before the first episode drops.
Also,
It's been all Diva all day over here.
Fair enough. Also, I would like to say not too long ago, Morgan, I did an Avatar episodes tier list where they went through every episode of the original series, put them all on the tier list.
Oh, nice.
That was fun. That was fun. I'm curious to see how you would handle that actually, because I want to know what some of your favorite and least favorite episodes are.
Maybe you guys should do it one day.
I think we should. I'm gonna give you one spoiler. Something that's definitely going to S tier for me is Lake Laogai. That was a great episode.
Okay. I can't hate it. That was a good one. All right. This one, honestly, I just pulled this story because I firstly find it weird as fuck. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, I have a question for you guys about it. Okay. So, Martin Scorsese has pitched a crime drama set in Hawaii that would star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Emily Blunt, and would be a mix of Goodfellas and The Departed.
Huh.
And I'm just curious of your thoughts, because this sounds weird to me. It's just an interesting combo, and I'm curious, what do you guys think the dynamic of whatever character The Rock is playing versus Leonardo's?
Do
you think it'll be a good dynamic with these two actors, knowing what we've gotten from them in previous anything?
I think it'll be very interesting.
Yes, because Leo and Emily Blunt are fucking professionals, and they're two of the best actors working out there right now. Dwayne, I mean, whatever,
Dwayne is the weirdest one for me in this trio. Not that he's bad, but he's usually I'm like, is he gonna finally break out of his like typecast?
Well, no? I think first of all, he's already tried doing like acting and being in an Oscar movie, see Southland Tales. But I think he could very easily pull off a Hawaiian mobster, because I imagine that's the whole point. And then with The Departed, it's Leo and Emily, either one of them trying to like infiltrate or something. I don't know. This is something that I could probably get behind if I saw more of it. But yeah, on paper, it just sounds really weird. And coming from Scorsese, he's been doing some weird stuff lately. Or maybe he's just doing stuff that he finally like has been wanting to do his whole life. I don't know. But either way, if you say Scorsese made it, I'm going to be intrigued regardless, because the man is a fucking master at this craft. But like, that's, even for him, like, that's just weird.
I'm happy you agree that it's weird, because I thought it was weird. When I first read it, I was like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah. You got anything else, Anthony?
Not really.
I'm sorry.
It's a very much. I'll just see like a trailer or something to get more info. But what it's worth, I don't know.
If it even happens, but like, this is also the same guy that talks about how like Marvel movies and shit aren't cinema and all that other stuff, and then he wants to make a movie with Dwayne Johnson. What? Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting pick.
That's honestly the crime in Hawaii and Leo and Emily fine. And then you throw in he wants Dwayne Johnson. Like,
weirdly
really?
enough to me, I feel like it would be, if we're going to go with somebody who is of, you know, more of the like of a Hawaiian heritage, right? I would
Samoan.
envision Jason Momoa better.
I don't know. Maybe Scorsese is a wrestling fan and he's been watching what The Rock has been doing
That's fair.
on WWE, because he is, I'm gonna tell you right now, he is a better actor in the WWE than he is in the last like 5 movies. I'm just saying.
No.
Now, I don't hate The Rock in his movies. I mean, as long as just be entertaining, but wrestling Rock is a whole different
It's
breed.
a whole different thing, man. For real.
That man, I believe it. I genuinely believe it. I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, I can't believe that's not actually how you are in real life.
Yeah. like if that dude, if that Dwayne Johnson, or if it's The Rock, then all right, cool, I can get behind it. If it's Dwayne Johnson, I'm like, fucking really? All right.
Yeah, you ever heard him speak Chinese?
Ah, dude, quit it. Fuck out of here.
And then, of course, we got to talk about the greatest people elbow I think he ever did, too. He had the damn church shoes on. He did that little slide with it.
Oh, yeah, across the ring.
So, for my next 2 stories, we're actually switching over to the comic universe, especially onto the DC side of things.
Almost my universe.
It's okay. It's fine. Hopefully you know a little bit about this one. So DC's James Gunn and Peter Safran have clarified which universe the upcoming Clayface movie will be set, saying it's an origin movie, an origin story for the classic Batman villain that they want to have in their world. So, are either of you familiar with Clayface?
Yes.
The most I truly know is the fact that he was the final boss in Arkham City, but I do know about him.
See, I'm not super familiar. I believe he's a shapeshifter, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the movie for Clayface has officially been announced that it will be R-rated for body horror.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
And who's it directed by?
Probably James Gunn, because DC has his dick.
It's not.
I'm looking it up real quick.
I got it. James Watkins.
No, okay.
See, I read something initially, which is the whole reason why I brought it up. I got excited, was that it was going to be Mike Flanagan. But I think Mike Flanagan, from a script by Mike Flanagan.
Oh.
So yeah, it looks like it's written by Mike. So
if anybody doesn't know Mike Flanagan, that's Dr. Sleep. That's the Fall of the House of Usher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking House on Haunted Hill. He's awesome. And I was stoked thinking it was going to be him doing this, but he's going to be doing The Dark Tower, the Stephen King thing. So I'm cool with that. If this is written by him, that's awesome. James Watkins, I'm not familiar with, but that's going to be a 6 script. Mike Flanagan is very good, especially in the realm of horror. So James Watkins doesn't fuck with the formula too much. I can get behind this. And it actually will probably be a pretty good fucking movie, which is awesome. But this Clayface is in the DC EU, or whatever the fuck we're calling it now, proper.
Yeah, they want it as part of their world. That's what James Gunn was saying.
This I don't like. If they're gonna do this, I want this Clayface to go up against Robert Pattinson's Batman, which is not.
Which I agree.
In the DCU proper, for whatever reason. So I'm very curious to see how this goes, but I like who's behind it, and the fact that it is rated R. It's gonna be something very different. And Clayface could definitely be a horror villain. Like, I'm in.
According to what's his name? What the hell is his name? I don't know what his first name is, but apparently the tone is going to be compared to the 1986 film The Fly. You ever seen The Fly?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Jeff Goldblum, baby.
Yeah.
So this film is slated for 2026 for its release currently. We'll see if it stays there. And I don't know how accurate this is, but I am. Oh, you know what? Never mind. That is not
Peter Safran. That's what it is.
That is not correct. That info is actually for the animation, not for this. So never mind. I do not have any whisperings of who may actually be playing Clayface just yet.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it fits in. Superman is PG-13. Fucking Creature Commandos has its own feel, but like it's TVMA, but it's more goofy than anything else.
Mhm.
And James Gunn's whole style is more that trauma type of style anyway, where like it can get dark, but it's more played for laughs, kind of. So I'm very curious to see how all this is going to mesh as we get longer into the DCU. I don't know what it's actually called. That's what I'm calling it.
It is called the DCU.
It is called DCU.
Yes.
So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited at the prospects and what they're putting out so far. It sounds good. It has been good. Creature Commandos is good. Superman does look good. I think it does look good. And this Clayface idea sounds awesome. But like, we'll see when they come out.
All right.
Very nice. I'm happy to read that it's going to be R-rated for body horror, though.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing before we move on. But pick a lane. Pick a fucking lane. Because we talked about this when they were doing Zack Snyder's DCEU, that these should probably be actually rated R and just fucking like do it, and then you can absolutely distinguish yourself from Marvel. So
yeah,
do that. I mean, Batman should have been rated R. Creature Commandos is TVMA. Superman doesn't have to be rated R. That's fine. But then you're doing Clayface's rated R. So like, you can just for once, pick a fucking lane and stick to it, please.
I got nothing. All right. Well, so on to the next.
Yeah. So the next one, again, it's pretty brief, but another thing from James Gunn. James Gunn has said that an amazing script is in the works for the Teen Titans movie from Ana Nogueira, who also wrote Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
I just looked up some of James Watkins' movies. I'm a little bit more excited now. I like a lot of the stuff that he's made. Anyway, on to this. Teen Titans movie? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Don't want. I don't want.
See, the only way I want, genuinely, is if it's animated. Because I feel like anytime I get a live action version of Teen Titans, something is always fucked up and wrong.
I like Titans.
Batman.
I like Titans.
Titans pisses me off.
I thought Titans was good.
There's moments where I like it, and then there's moments where I really, really hate it.
I don't know. Just here's what I kind of want. If you're gonna do this, I mean, it doesn't have to be animated. Just watch the Teen Titans show. Take notes. Like, please take notes. That's all I ask.
That will disappoint me if this comes out and we still look at the Titans from the early 2000s, the mid 2000s that came out and go, that's still the best Titans. There's something wrong.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, as much as I like this stuff, but definitely don't take Zack Snyder inspiration to do anything like this one. I think this one should be, I don't want to say it can go places, but again, just take notes from that show.
I wanted to go places. That show went places.
I mean, I'm saying this, but not Zack Snyder places.
Yeah. No.
That's fair. Have you guys seen anything for the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow? I did get a teaser trailer a month ago.
It did?
Yeah, apparently. I had no idea. But I just looked it up, and apparently it has one.
What's it called?
Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is written by Ana Nogueira, who's writing the Teen Titans script as well. I don't really know hardly anything about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I do know the actress for Kara Zor. So Kara Zor.
Real.
No, I don't know. I genuinely don't know if the teaser trailer is real.
First look, the teaser trailer is fake.
Okay,
that's fake as fuck.
The first look is probably real though.
The first look is fake.
Is the first look fake or is the trailer fake?
That trailer was fake as hell.
Okay, again, I have not clicked on it. I know nothing about this other than it. The cast has been announced, and I am excited to see Millie Alcock is actually cast as Kara Zor-El. I love Millie. She really had a big breakout role for House of Dragon, and I'm excited to see her expand her wings. I don't know how
for
she'll
the last
do.
girl that did it. She was good.
For the show.
For Flash.
Yeah, I really liked her too. And so the thing is, like, I'm gonna be comparing Millie to her because I really liked Supergirl's version, like the Supergirl that we got on the CW. So we'll see. But it's written, apparently this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is written by the same woman who's writing Teen Titans. So we'll see what's gonna happen.
I guess that'll be my bar.
Yeah. the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is slated also for a 2026 release, so I would assume that Teen Titans is probably going to be a 27 or 28, pending.
Well,
maybe even a 29.
We will see.
Can't
Again,
wait.
take notes. Take goddamn notes.
Yeah, take all the notes.
Yeah. But
all right.
The last bit of news isn't anything really we need to discuss, but it's a little nostalgic. And for anybody who wants to get nostalgic, because I know we're going to be getting nostalgic tonight. Not to make anybody feel old, but April 25th is the 20th year anniversary of Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith. And
the one that nobody liked until Disney decided to double down and be like, hold my beer.
Actually, the one that most people agreed was the better of the prequels, but still didn't love.
Yeah, the one that everybody hates is Phantom Menace,
for those
the first
saber
one.
fights, I don't think we'd be talking about this. It weren't for those sick ass battles.
So I bring this up.
Sure as fuck ate the dialogue.
I bring this up though because I'm a massive, Star Wars fan. I have a little Ewok there. I'm literally wearing Ahsoka right now. But that being said, I didn't actually. It's just kind of funny.
You planned this, you did.
I found this story after I was already dressed for the day. But no, I just wanted to let everybody know that in celebration of the 20th anniversary, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is going to be returning to theaters. So you can have a chance to go see it in theaters again. I got to see Phantom Menace in theaters once again for its anniversary, and I loved it. And I'm actually definitely going to go see this in theaters again because
first Star Wars you guys saw.
No.
Better question. What's the first Star Wars you guys actually went and sat down in the theaters and watched that your parents drug you to?
Revenge of the Sith. I remember 2005 went to see it, and I remember your little child me was pretty bored. And then I remember, wait a minute, this guy, I thought he was dead. He just got burned alive. And then he turned into Darth Vader, like, I feel like I've seen this guy before somewhere. And then I was like, as that girl was like, I've definitely probably seen Darth Vader before I saw that movie.
Mine was Phantom Menace.
Oh, yeah?
Ugh. So I was 2 years old when the Phantom Menace came out.
Wow, thanks.
You're welcome.
I was a year.
Even better. Babies!
What year did... The question is, what year did... What is it? The Attack of the Clones, right?
Yeah, it's like 2002.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was 2002.
Yeah, it was
02,
that was
yep.
It was 99, 02,
oh, 99.
05. Yeah, because I just looked it up.
Already.
Just saying. So honestly, not that I personally remember it. I know I for sure saw episode 3, but I'm pretty sure I went and saw Attack of the Clones as well because my brother is a massive Star Wars fan, and because of him being 7,
the one that bored me.
Because of him being 7 years older, though, we probably saw that in theaters. I just probably don't remember it.
That's fair.
Babies. I mean, I've been over this before, but I still like. I just can't get into those prequels at all. And no one will ever convince me that the prequels are better than the sequels. I mean, I'm not acting like the sequels are perfect and nothing like that, but like I hate the prequels on a different kind of level.
Listen, I will not argue that Revenge of the Sith is probably the best one of the prequels. No, it is clearly. However, the standout points for all 3 of those movies, even compared to the originals and the ones that just came out, are the lightsaber fights. The choreography and how they get at it in those 3 movies is still bar none compared to the originals and the ones that just came out. There's still nothing like it.
I don't like those fights.
But I'm just saying, as far as the fandom is concerned, I'm pretty sure that's why those are still high standing. You see people that cosplay and do like simulated fights, choreographed fights. They're doing those fights. They're not doing fights from the Disney ones or from George Lucas's originals. Their inspiration, their whole fighting style is from those 3 movies. That is the lasting legacy of those movies. It is the fights and the battles.
For me, the most I will say when it comes to the new ones is at least those fights look like they're trying to actually kill each other.
Fair, but not to have a Star Wars debate. I can't believe Morgan. I'm doing this for Morgan. They're masters in the prequels.
I'm letting you because I'll go even longer.
In the originals and the ones now, they're basically scrubs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true,
Scrubs
but
with
at the
sabers.
same time, like
It is
Also-
master
And
versus
you make those
master
fights
in the
look like
prequels.
someone's trying to win, then pad out the fight with cool visuals. Which I'm not gonna act like there aren't cool visuals in them,
No, they
but
totally are.
just look like someone's trying to win.
We got to see Yoda fucking jump all over the furniture parkour style and hit nothing. It was amazing. And then obviously Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker is probably one of the coolest fights you'll ever see in movies. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah, it's
They did a good
iconic.
job
I'll
with
give it that.
And that's why. And that's
You know what?
that's the lasting legacy,
Listen,
in my opinion. Of those
I have
movies.
the best comparison
Sure
to
as
that
fucking
fight.
the story.
Anakin and Obi-Wan remind me of Peter fighting the giant chicken in Family Guy. They start with one place, they keep ending another. There's lightsaber hits something goes wrong in the environment, and they still manage to find ways to fight.
Dude, they fucking use the Force to keep the robots up and like float on the robots to fight each other some more. Sick.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, cool. All right,
yeah, because those robots are doing a job, and then they're like, "You're mine now."
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
All right. Anyway.
So, I bring this up though because obviously, firstly, I am a massive Star Wars fan. And I'm just going to start out the next bit of our show, which is us discussing what films got us into filmmaking, why we are filmmakers, and why we're doing what we're doing. And I'm not saying the prequels, I'm saying all of them. Like the prequels and the sequel franchise of Star Wars is one of my major things that have gotten me into filmmaking.
Before you continue,
yes.
Are you doing a break?
No, unless you want me to.
No,
I don't
go
have
ahead. Just
the
keep
one
talking.
thing ready.
I just have to use the bathroom, so go ahead.
I can go be right back.
No, keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess for me, I'm gonna start it off with one of my films or one of my franchises in films that got me into filmmaking was Star Wars. There's been a huge, huge love. You know, there was Star Wars is, you know, firstly from kind of almost both sides of the sequels and then the prequels. Both actually have developed filmmaking as we know it today. Just they developed it in two different eras. And I love watching the behind the scenes of both. It's a big thing for even still to this day. They still do a lot of miniature stuff, which is, you know, there is, even though there's a lot more CG work, they still use practicality for some of their sets and some of like the up close stuff, which I do love. So yeah, this is one thing like your guys are gonna learn, and it's probably the same for both you and Luke. My list explains a lot about what I like my interests, to my whole fucking personality, to the scripts that I write and the genre of scripts that I do write and films that I like to work on, and my whole list is like, yeah, she makes a lot of sense now.
There you go. I'm not surprised there. But I'm excited to hear more of your movies of what inspired you on certain aspects of filmmaking too.
Yeah, I do have a couple series in here as well. There's more movies than there are series, but I had a few honorable mentions of series. But yeah. So, gentlemen, how do we want to work this? What are we feeling? Do you want me to just we do round table style and we just go around and just list off things that, you know, got us into filmmaking, or is there a specific style that you want to run tonight?
I really only need like 10 minutes max, so I mean,
I'm okay with going
if you want to discuss further and get more into like in depth as to why, then that's cool. But I mean, I'm just gonna list off my inspirations, like stylistically, probably storytelling wise, my favorite directors, shit like that, and I'll keep it nice and tight.
Okay, that's very fair. Well, we can kind of round table that, I think, a little bit. Sure. I will start with a handful that got me into it aside from Star Wars. To nobody's surprise, the Lord of the Rings franchise has gotten me into filmmaking. You know, it's just that whole, honestly, the visuals and how it's probably why I like longer films. Because I think those films are paced very well, and yes, I am a extended edition girly. But from there, I also have Jurassic Park, which I know is one for you, Dreaded. I don't know how to explain really well into words how these films have made me feel, but all of these are films that made me leave the theater or when I was done watching them, I felt inspired. I felt I felt like this like indescribable like force just inside me, like being like, okay, I have ideas flowing. I am ready to engage and I'm ready to start making stuff. And I have, because of those, have gone and written quite a few scripts. But yeah, what are some other ones that have done that, like that have done that for you guys?
Luke, you want to go first or should I go first?
No, go ahead.
All right. I actually have the video up on YouTube right now. So here's the story of, so when I was a kid, I owned a lot of DVDs and stuff like that. And I loved watching
Same.
movies. But oddly enough, something that I ended up discovering that I liked just as much was I liked watching behind the scenes. As a kid, I couldn't explain it. I like the making. I always look for the special features, like the making of, like, yes, I want to watch this. Let's see it. I just got super interested. But everything changed when I like finally sat down and watched behind the scenes of Jurassic Park 3. So I was aware of, like CG and computer graphics and everything like that. I was aware of that. And I know, like, oh yeah, that's how they made, Godzilla and the 98 movie Godzilla and stuff like that. But when I was watching behind the scenes of Jurassic Park 3, and suddenly I saw 2 animatronic dinosaurs, a Spino and a T-Rex, in that fight scene, I was like, what the fuck? Wait, what? That's real. That is real. I didn't know about animatronics. I didn't know that was a thing. So when I saw actual dinosaurs, I was like, there's no way. And then I actually saw a actual like forest. Like, I didn't understand sets either. So when I realized how much could be real, something in me is like, yeah. I think at that moment I just wanted to create stuff like that. I wanted to do that. I liked watching people actually react to something that was there, like the animatronics and stuff. I mean, of course, CG has come a long way and it has its benefits and awesomeness as well, but still. So yeah, Jurassic Park 3 is kind of the movie that sealed the deal.
We're horror fans, man. Nothing beats practical.
That's true.
That's why a big thing for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was a lot of practicality in those films.
Yeah, I know what the fuck happened with The Hobbit.
Listen, we're not going to talk about it.
At least we got some out of that.
Is that
There
it?
is still some
I don't want to cut
practicality.
you off. Is that it, dude?
I mean, that's the origin, but then there's going to be a lot of other movies where I'm going to talk about director style, color grading, soundtrack,
there is, for
cinematography.
me, it's interesting because, like, for me, there is no, like, this is the origin. This is the one. If I had to choose one, it might be something more like Lord of the Rings, or to go do another one that's on my list is Star Trek. Also, if anybody knows me, I'm huge into Stargate. So like Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis, those are massive influences for me wanting to get into filmmaking.
Okay.
I love those to death, and I will turn them on and binge them all the time.
Hell yeah.
But my list is probably a lot longer because that's how my lists always go compared to your guys's. So Luke, I will go ahead and talk.
I mean, I've been watching movies forever. Always loved them. And for me, it's not about special features or anything. It's just hearing stories about certain filmmakers. Like, my favorite directors are John Carpenter and Sam Raimi, and Sam Raimi especially is from here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he grew up here, so that hearing that and how much they made the Evil Dead for and what everything that they went through it's like you listen to stuff like that from your favorite filmmakers and you go, why the fuck can't I do that? Or at least that's what I did. And it's like, man, they actually, hearing them talk about it, and especially knowing that they grew up so close to me, it makes it seem attainable. So it's not like me wanting to be a fucking professional athlete, which is just not going to happen or anything like that. It's one of those things that I enjoy doing and I have a passion for. And then you find out that your favorite people also went through the same crap that you're going through, that I'm currently going through right now, to get their stuff made. And that it did take a few years, and it's not something that happens overnight, and it is something that you do have to stick to. So those are my inspirations, is hearing about people that did it for relatively nothing, and then, with their hard work and a little bit of luck, now they are where they are. So who's to say? Stylistically, because my writing comes from watching, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Dragon Ball, fucking any kind of like dark and demented thing, or any kind of like goofy shit. That's where my writing comes from. I don't have like a favorite writer. And then stylistically, I think my biggest influence for my style that I would want to have is probably The Crow. That's my favorite movie. That is hands down my favorite movie. The acting in it, the atmosphere, the look of everything, like that is a movie that I will turn to and I'll go like, you know what? If I could, honestly, if I could, I want to do The Crow. I want to take a stab at it. But yeah, I don't look at like this movie made me want to do or anything like that. It's just hearing stories about directors and filmmakers that I enjoy watching and knowing that they went through a similar struggle. And then it just makes me go, all right, well, it sucks now, but who's to say what'll happen later? And then the biggest thing for me, because I want to act as well, is I write my own stuff so I can put myself in my own movies and not get told, no, you're not good enough, you know? So there's a little bit of me cheating the game, or at least trying to. But yeah, that's where my influences come from. It's just from being like, I love this person. Oh my God, here's what it took for them to do it. And then I go, yeah, I can absolutely do that. Like, why not? And that's currently where we're sitting at right now. So,
And kind of going off of that too, like for me, like it isn't necessarily like these films. Oh, they made me get into filmmaking, but these films
that does
already,
happen.
and it does happen. But these films, like these films or these shows that I've picked and have on my list, are ones that I've always been like from a very very young age. I've always had a very large, expansive imagination, and I've always been
Same.
somebody since I was a little girl. Like literally first grade, I was writing little tiny handmade books and putting them in the class library.
Well, we've talked about this before because I've told you before, like fantasy, I don't think I could do it. I really don't. I don't think I could write any kind of fantasy. I could maybe dip my toe in there, but it'd probably end up being something
fantasy
close
and
to Harry Potter.
sci-fi.
You know what I mean?
Fantasy and
Sci-fi
sci-fi
I
is
could
my
probably do. Fantasy I could probably do, but
fantasy and
fucking
sci-fi is my
fantasy.
wheelhouse, and
Yeah, I can't do made up names.
I'm fantastic at made up names. Just give me a call, I'll help. But the biggest thing for me is all of these films, for somebody who had such a like at such a young age, such a expansive imagination, seeing films like the films that are on my list on the big screen, it was like, wow, my ideas can be made. They can be put on a screen. You know, and it's just like they for me were like, this obviously getting to that level of quality is hard because you need money. But knowing that that is a possibility and that's where I can get to, that has been my drive, and that has been my like my I guess awe-inspiring influences. Like if they can do it, I can do it.
And it is attainable, man. You know, the best thing, honestly, the best thing about my experience getting this movie made has been you guys and the rest of the cast and crew reading what I wrote and going, absolutely, like that made me feel amazing, and it made me go like, all right, well, I have something here, because nobody yet has been like, this sucks, or like, no thank you, or anything like that. Everybody has been wanting to be a part of it because of the thing that I wrote. That's awesome. And like, you just start from there and fucking just, my man, and just keep building from there. It's great when that happens. You know, I got my whole cast just by going to one event and passing around the script, and everybody wanted to be involved, and we made them from there. You guys wanted to be involved because you guys read the script. That's awesome. Brian Kilby wanting to direct it because he read the script. Like, that's fucking sweet. So you just never know. But it is one of those things where you can think too much about what everybody else is going to think that you don't move forward. And for us right now, we could still very much be in that area too. But like, we're determined, man. Regardless of what happens, we are going to get this thing made. If we have to do it for $5, we'll see what it looks like after that. You know, it is what it is. But we are determined. We have everybody involved, and that's the other thing too. Is as more people get involved, the more it's like for Brian and I, like, we can't let you guys down. This has to get done now. So it's gonna get done. It's just a matter of like, well, what's it gonna look like at the end? But you know, we're confident it's gonna look pretty amazing. But to get back to the point that I was trying to make is like, don't think about it too much. Just put it out there and let what happens happen. That's pretty much it. If you think too much and you're sitting on it, nothing gets done. Eventually, you just got to be like, fuck it, and just put it out and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. For me, I have so many things I can talk about when it comes to style and everything like that. There's a lot of directors that, like, I feel like, I mean, I don't ever want to say copy style, but more like I take notes of different stuff that they do that I love. Like, for example, I know we can chuck a lot of shit about Michael Bay. We really can. but I will give that man credit for putting on some good ass spectacle action sequences, especially the Transformers series, which is another series that had me like. I kind of looked at these movies for some dope ass action sequences. Actually, I mean, not just like robot, hell, even just human action. Actually, along with using soundtrack. Something I want to talk about big time is soundtrack because
yes,
something I love to do in my pastime. I listen to soundtrack. And rather than think about, okay, I know this came from this, but like, if I had this music piece, what would I do with it? And just think, yeah, create my own action scene. Like Luke, dead ass. The song that plays during Gogeta versus Broly, I literally think of my own shit with that as well.
Go, bro.
Yeah, pretty much do. Like dead ass.
Go, Broly, go.
Stuff from Transformers. Music from video games as well. Actually, music from video games like Ori and the Blind Forest and everything like that. Like I just like to think of my variations of stuff. Actually,
I will jam to some Yuzo Koshiro. That's Streets of Rage and shit like that, and like the Sonic soundtrack. I will play Green Hill Zone all day, every day. Like
I literally be at work listening to Tekken 4 soundtrack. Actually.
Yeah, but okay.
I have a genuine idea for a Tekken short, live action short that I want to use. That one of those songs from that game. Actually,
I will play any of your characters. I don't care. But real quick, I do want to say there's nothing wrong with you wearing your influences on your sleeve. Like I do. Shit, when I was writing stuff, I was like, this is 100% from this thing right here. Like it just is what it is. But that's part of the process, man. I mean, especially Michael Bay, like you were saying, he holds a special place in my heart because he has some bangers for some movies, but he's also got like his trophy shit. Like it is what it is. But
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that, dude. If it inspires you, you borrow. It is what it is. Everybody does it.
What were you gonna say, Morgan?
I was gonna say I do a very similar thing with like music. I have honestly a playlist on Spotify that is 81.5 hours long, and it's just a culmination of soundtracks from different movies and video games. And when I am in the mode and I am writing and I am being creative, I genuinely play this. It's called literally creative inspiration, and it is just stuff like that from movies and video games.
Music helps me write.
Yeah, me too. It helps me write a lot.
Yeah, it's really helpful actually. Mine is only 8 hours long so far. So what are they gonna say?
I can always send you my link, and you can browse my 81 hours in 25 minutes.
I have to say also Zack Snyder's an inspiration in ways too. But I give it to him because for me, Zack, when it came to the DC movies, did something that I wish more films did. And like the way his cinematography, I know it's a lot of special effects, but his cinematography and how he shows off how Superman and Wonder Woman would fight, I'm like, that reminds me of how anime, it's not necessarily cinematography in animation or in anime, but I think you know what I mean though, right?
I was going to say that actually. He's the only one working right now that does live action anime.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, I want more of that. That's something I definitely want to hopefully get to is like, I want to create that spectacle too, but in live action. Because I love it in animation, but if we can push that boundary and make it happen in live action.
Dude, and he's one of those too that I love to hear about because he does his stuff for relatively low money, and he just like has a green screen in his backyard and he can give you those shots. It's amazing the stuff that they can do now. Obviously, the thing that sucks and what holds us back, it's always going to be money. It just is what it is. You got to have some kind of a deep pocket to get your idea off the ground to some point. We put in some money into this already. Like we have. And that's the thing. I don't want to talk about my movie too much, but like check out the fucking campaign. That'll tell you more about it than I ever could. But like that is something that does hold us back as independent filmmakers is that we don't have any money, and you have to put it. You have to put it in. You have to put in your own money. You have to bet on it. You have to bet on yourself. And you know what? And that's why when it's all said and done, the chips kind of fall where they may. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like for us, we can still do it. But like, if you got a grand idea, like if you do want to shoot a Zack Snyder-esque thing, probably not. But you could do something close, esque. We have green screens. We could do something, but it's obviously not going to look like that because we don't have the fucking money.
Would you guys believe me if I said, because I don't know how much you guys pay attention to this, but the last song that KSI released that got hated on, I actually had a neat video with some good effects. I was like, damn. I mean, I don't know how much he paid for them, but these effects really have me like, for one of my passion projects, which also for the record, I would like to say, I'm rewriting the entire chronological like story again.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna get into it, but I finally fixed a major plot point that I couldn't fix for the longest time. I got it.
Excellent.
But also I have to bring up Godzilla -1. How little that was. Yeah, see? Oh, you talking to chat?
Well, you too.
Yeah, Godzilla -1. When I saw that behind the scenes video of like basically how they made how well they managed to do so many effects and make it seem like they had more money than they actually did, was very inspirational. It really made me think we really can do our projects without millions of dollars. Still gonna cost something, but we can make it happen. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the cheaper looking effects give it more personality, if you ask me.
Give it a little bit of flavor, a little bit of
exactly.
Instead of Red One.
Come on, we're not doing this again.
Fucking advertisement for $250 million.
Yeah, but they made
Godzilla
money
in a parking lot for 15.
Come on,
but they made money.
Fuck out of here. I see your stupid polar bear in a fucking Christmas stupid tactical suit, and I raise you a parking lot Godzilla. Fuck you.
Okay, let's move on from that before he blows the gas fuse.
Anyway, I'm just saying, I agree. You know, it's a tighter budget. You know, it's got that little seasoning on it, and it looks amazing. It's fucking sweet. And then you read about and watch how it was made in the parking lot, and you go, "Oh my, like really?" People think I'm joking when I bring that up. And I go, "I'm not." Like, look, they did this in the fucking parking lot. That is insane. That is insane.
I wonder how surprised people will be for a specific scene in your movie that we actually filmed when they figure out how that was done. Because I loved telling some people about what this set was like.
And like, thank you. That's amazing. But yeah, that's why I love about this the most, and why, especially starting out, I really want to do horror, is because we have to be inventive. You have to be inventive. You have to be creative. You have to be able to adapt. We're already doing great things. We have a trailer. If you go to the campaign, you will see the trailer. It's pretty good. We're gonna have, for us, we'll probably have a better one when we get closer. But this one's awesome with what we have. Everything looks great. Everything looks phenomenal. Brian is doing a great job with the footage that we have and the stuff that he's shooting. It's awesome. And like, just think of what could happen, right? But still, we get some impressive stuff done with like pennies. It's very possible. You gotta be a little creative and just try some things. Just fucking try it. Especially for your guys' stuff too. Just try it.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of trailers inspired me a lot too. I love watching good trailers.
There's no good trailer anymore.
We can bring it back then.
X.
I will say this though. Recently, when I was at
start an argument.
So lately, I've been very into Monster Hunter actually, and recently, I kind of came up in my head I guess I'd say a concept trailer for what could a better Monster Hunter movie or story be. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of based it around the Transformers Dark of the Moon trailer. And when I thought in my head, like, wait, this is actually awesome. This is some of the stuff I came up with actually.
Yeah, I think
yeah, that was a cool ass trailer.
Excuse me, sorry.
Trailers, and I'll say this too. Video games have inspired me a lot too. God of War inspired me on spectacle.
You know, an area for me that I don't really think about that much is the music and the scores. It's not really something that I pay all that much attention to. Like, there aren't, for all the movies that I've seen, there really haven't been any scores where I was like, that stuck with me. I'm a little more open to it now. I'm gonna be completely honest. I think the first one that actually stuck with me was Ender's Game. Anybody watch that?
Yeah,
I know what it is.
I think that has a great score. I think that's got a fucking phenomenal score. But outside of that, it's one of those things that I go, I mean, I get it. I know it's doing its job, but it's not something that I really think about. When I write, I'm not thinking about musical cues. I'm thinking more of on an emotional level instead of a musical level, if that makes any sense. Because, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the dialogue or most of the conversations that my characters have is like stuff that you could honestly be like, yeah, like people have those conversations. That's what I'm after. I'm trying to have them be more
You want
grounded
it
and
you
more
want
like,
it to be grounded and have heart. Like and I feel that.
yeah,
Like
but like the
that's
music part of it is is usually the last thing on my mind.
see, the music part of it for me is music's really important to me, especially good like through my just my life of like watching films and like using them as my like the music even as inspiration when I'm writing. And that's probably a major part because I am a musician and I was in theater and I did musical theater. So, music for me growing up, there's always been that emotional enhancement. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Theater, being a theater kid is a big reason why I'm into filmmaking today. There was when I was getting ready, I think it was my sophomore or junior year. I think it was my junior year. I got a really big deep behind the scenes at a theater like convention, if you will, for young theater members,
Mm-hmm.
and got to look into how they do like the set designs and how like the main person who does the set designs makes little mini dioramas that actually transition and like they show that as like their proof of concept. And for a while, that was what I was going to get into. I was going to get into set designing, for the stage plays, and I decided I was like, but this isn't like I can do this. I would love this, but I have more. I like creatively. I knew there was more I wanted to give, and which is wild to say because that's a hella creative job. But going from there is like that's when I got into then finally being I was always on the stage, and then I finally got behind the scenes, and I worked my way up because I wanted so desperately to become the manager of the stage productions we were doing, and I got there and I loved it. And that's how I knew like this is where I want to be. I want to be in the seat that's leading. I want to be in the seat that's taking the vision and creating that vision. And so that's a big part of also why I am where I am with filmmaking and why I wanted to be a filmmaker. But for me when I'm editing my films or any video for that matter, I have a rough idea, but I always try to find my music sooner rather than later. It's not always the first thing I do. I get a rough idea, maybe a rough outline, but then I find my music and I edit my scenes to my music because it just enhances the sensation that the viewers are getting.
I would absolutely love if Troll made some tracks for Crawlspace. Troll is one of my favorite bands that nobody's ever heard of. They did the soundtrack to Guardia de Male too.
Awesome. Great movie, by the way. Amazing movie. I edit on whatchamacallit, Premiere Pro.
DaVinci.
Yeah, my main right now is Premiere Pro, but I do dabble over into DaVinci sometimes for color correction.
For my passion project that I'm working on, I mean, I don't know how likely this could happen, but there is a composer named Samuel Laflamme that I would like to hopefully work. Laflamme, yeah. He did the soundtrack to the Outlast games, actually.
Nice.
And I feel maybe I'd like to talk to him about some of the projects I have, actually. Because there is a piece of soundtrack from Outlast 2 that didn't make it into the final game, but when I was listening to it, like, this fits really well for a scene I had in my head for one of my movies. Also, I would like to going more off soundtrack as well. I agree with Morgan big time that when you said like music like enhances that feel and everything, it brings out the feels in so many ways. Because
music for me, it's a tool to be used in your storytelling.
Well, it inspires me. A lot of the music that I listen to visually does inspire me visually, and can like if I have an idea that I got bouncing around my head, if the right song plays, I'm like, there it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like when I'm writing it, I don't think, and then now this swells in type of shit. I don't do that. Maybe I should be taken a little bit more seriously, but that's always something that like when this is done, I'll sit down with Brian and we'll probably just think about like how we want it to sound right then and there or something. Yeah, I'd imagine. But right off now, like the music isn't even something that I've even thought about. He probably has, but I haven't.
I will say for me, when it comes to thinking about music and stuff, I definitely like, okay, what is the vibe I want? And then I kind of listen to different soundtracks. Yeah, I listen to different soundtracks, like something like this, something like this.
I do that.
Oh. I would like
I
to
can
say
give
one of my.
examples. If you put a gun to my head and we're like, well, how do you want this to sound? I could probably come up with something, right?
I
But it's
believe
just
you. I believe you.
it's like the afterthought type of thing. Unfortunately, I got everything else nailed down though.
I would like to say it would be a dream to work with Bear McCreary. After hearing his work on Godzilla King of the Monsters, that man became my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His rendition of Akira Ifukube's fucking theme is amazing.
That the Ghidorah's theme with the fucking Buddhist chants.
Yeah, that was.
Or using the there's a version of that Mothra theme in that movie where they actually have the vocals.
You know what? You keep making an argument as to why King of the Monsters should be my favorite in that universe. Honestly,
I will keep that up. We'll have that discussion.
Well, it should be. It really should be. But they just fucking cut away. Anyway.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. I like learning about my favorite filmmakers and how they went about it because, like I said, that makes it very attainable for me. And I mean, especially like how deep I am into this production as is. Like it is attainable. Like I'm making a movie. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am making a movie. It's happening.
Hell yeah.
And then you just, and then you throw in the things that influence me stylistically. The biggest one is The Crow, but obviously, like, I get all my influence from like A24 and watching the Hereditary and then The Conjurings and fucking the old slashers from the 80s and shit, and even stuff from like I love the Universal monsters. So I think that helps a lot too with atmosphere because they didn't really do jump scares or anything like that. You're watching a play on the fucking screen. Why is it scary? It's because of their atmosphere and their sets and shit. You think about stuff like that. Like all of that goes into it, but as far as like the main one, for me, it's just I love movies. I love watching them. That they make me feel things inside that most other things don't. I have a deep connection with them. When I love them, I love them. When they're shit, you hear me talk about it here. Like, but there's always like a reaction and a reason why. And especially with this production now that we're doing, it's like I have a lot more respect for the craft. And even like the bad movies you have to respect because this is hard. It is hard. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but like it can be done. I'm doing it, so that's awesome.
I would like to say also too, I think a big thing I'm into is character writing. I love to do some good character writing.
I do too.
Like
I want to say, like, if you guys have time to ever truly get into like D&D and get into Dungeons and Dragons, and like even if you don't end up playing it, but just like going through a character creation process with me, I would love to be able to like show you guys the development of character, like creating a character in that way, because it has helped me so much as a filmmaker.
I would say I like watching. For me, what helped is watching breakdown of some of my favorite anime characters. Actually,
oh, I can't wait. If I get any more opportunities to do this after we're done, then I will try to expand into like an action movie or something because I love studying those as well. We were just talking about Gareth Evans, who did The Raid, has a movie coming out with or is it Edwards? I think it's Evans. Is coming out with a movie with Tom Hardy called Havoc, and you just look at the shots and stuff that they're pulling off, and you're like, when I watch that stuff, I go, all right, obviously I don't have that equipment, but I can still get that shot.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like when you watch big budget movies or big things on the big screen, you go, "Fuck, that just looks like it's way out of your reach." It's really not. It's really not. It's if you got a camera and some motivated friends, you can. I mean, it's not going to look like that, but you can still do something.
You can do some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of scripts that are on the back burner because they are like high yield fantasy or extreme high yield like space battles and shit, right? I know that I currently am not gonna be able to get those productions, but they are done, and one day
you'd be surprised.
One day I'm gonna get them, right? But I have things I'm working on. Like I have a couple like fantasy, like supernatural things that take place in the modern day. I'm trying to do things that are a little bit more modern day, or take the fantasy and the sci-fi and give them a modern twist. I'm also a big fan.
You have one that I've been trying to do with you for years.
I know. We need to not be busy so we can work on it. But
I'll also say
that's another thing is he's speaking of a psychological thriller that I am working on, and I'm working on the script still. The script is still in process, and Luke was the first person I told the idea to, and then I have a group of friends who do a lot of script writing, as part of their daily career, and when I talk to them about it, they're like, this is money, we need to get this made. So I have something that is my massive passion project that I am working on, and it is something that's obtainable. You got to sometimes step away from like what, even though my main genre and my love is fantasy and sci-fi, a lot of my scripts right now are just not obtainable for me in the quality that I want to put out for them. However, things like my psychological thriller are the things like my supernatural thriller that I'm working on that has to do with like ghosts and shit that I'm working on. And those are things that I can be practical with and I can get done even on a freelancer budget.
I would like to say too, I also want to make music videos as well because there's a lot of songs I listen to and I think
can make the fuck out of a music video.
Yeah. There's Morgan, of course. Wait, Luke, do you like Lithium?
Yeah.
I have an idea for a video for his song From the Ashes with Skylar Grey. Like, there's that. I like to write a lot of shit too, honestly, too. I'm currently working on that big passion project story that you guys know about. Luke, me and you need to get together eventually because we need to work on that Watcher script and the one game idea we had. Well, not game adaptation, because I have ideas for that as well. What else would I like to write?
That one I'm excited for.
I like to write just stories, character growth, some smut once in a while. Don't go into my phone.
Hilarious.
So seriously, don't go on my phone. So yeah, I just like to create shit. I really do. But of course, the big one is films.
Yeah.
Or just some form of cinema, from series to films.
But that seriously is the tough part about it, guys. It's like you get so much into your head that you end up stopping yourself from going through it. But all you need is your idea, get it down on paper, show it to a couple friends that actually give a damn, and just fucking go from there. And you know, that you never know what happens. The next thing you know, you're 40% into a fucking feature film.
There you go.
Asking strangers for money.
I need to email myself the story because I've been working on my story at work when I have downtime. So I'm gonna email that to myself so that way I can work on it at home as well.
Yeah, and you know, highs and lows, man. It's a fucking roller coaster. I'm riding this thing side by side with Brian, man. It's fucking it is the most stressful but most fun thing that I've done.
Yeah. For me, I think my biggest holdback is I'm really trying to make sure my story is 100% done on like kind of an Attack on Titan way, whereas like the creator knew almost every detail before it even ended. That's kind of what I'm going for at the moment. And I know it's a bit ambitious and might hold me back, but I do stand by. If I don't do that, I feel like this story won't be as good as I feel like it can be, or as people have told me who I have told this story to.
Understandable. Don't get too hung up on that though. Like start, get after it. But yeah, especially with your inspirations, and it's great that you guys, talk about that and you have those things that are inspiring you to do this because your favorite filmmakers are starting out just where we are.
Filmmaking, I love it.
A lot of luck though. That's the biggest thing.
Also, watch Corridor Crew. I love watching those guys.
All right.
I love watching them break down a lot of stuff. I especially love their stuntmen episodes where they bring in people who break down stunts or action directing. One of my favorite people they ever had was Chris Cohen, actually, who I don't know if you guys ever saw. He made like this My Hero Academia live action short with Cleo Thomas in it, actually, too. And he actually went on to work on Shang-Chi, actually.
See?
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
I don't want to get too preachy or too lectury up here. So, whenever I don't have anything else to contribute as far as my inspirations. It's pretty much it. But
I mean, I can talk about how Dead Space has recently inspired me for doing hallucinations.
So if we're talking about like video game stuff, like I have Dead Space, Halo, Destiny, there's Divinity Original Sin, there's the Elder Scrolls. Like there's so many that I can pull from. Phasmophobia has given me a bunch of ideas for my supernatural run I've been working on. My list goes on and on. Like I have massive inspirations from Alien, from the Predator franchise, especially Planet of the Apes, Interstellar. One of my favorite Disney films, is Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and I love the heart that film has, and the the mystery and the fantasy behind it. So another one being is that kind of that dark macabre of like Dracula. Like there's just so much. It's interesting because like my interests of films are, though they're kind of like all more like kind of still like have that fantasy, that supernatural aspect or that sci-fi bit to them. They all really like accumulate to make like, okay, this is just my wheelhouse at this point. It's not only my personality, it's my wheelhouse. But yeah, I'm excited to dive into everything. And one thing that there's not a lot of on here is I'm a massive fan of psychological horror. And it's something that with the film I'm working on working on the script, is I'm decided, and it was all just from a part of challenging myself. It's like I have a bunch of scripts written that I can't make to the quality I want them to be right now, mainly because of money and also location. Like I just don't have the area or the money to get to the locations that I want to get myself, or maybe even a crew to, or a small cast. Um, so I was like, what can I do? Like, I need to start working in a genre that can let me create. And I'm working on a feature length film. Like, that script is meant to be a feature length. It's not meant to be like a 20-30 minute. So it takes time to write it. And, and then obviously sometimes life gets in the way. But it's one of those things where sometimes you got to challenge yourself, and that was me challenging myself. It's like, I love psychological horror. I know I could probably write and I can do psychological horror, but I haven't taken the time to try. And that's what this passion project of mine is right now, is me finally stepping out of that comfort zone and doing it, because I know that it is something I can make within the means of my mind and my capabilities right now, instead of waiting for them like later down the road for more money. I mean, like a substantial amount of more money.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, you guys would be surprised, man. Don't get hung up too much on the numbers. You got to get creative. You gotta
No,
try some
absolutely.
shit, try
And
some new things.
that's why like
Our trailer, our footage, it looks way better, and like it's made for way more than what it actually is. And we will continue to do that. But I mean, it comes with the trial and error. It really does.
Absolutely. And there's also like different price points for different styles. That there's that too.
Well, sure. No, 100%. 100%. That is factual. You're going to have a hard time doing Lord of the Rings for $10. Like, it is what it is.
And
however,
see, like right now, as you guys have known, there's actually a lot of scripts that I haven't ever sent to you guys, because I know that these are a later in my career script. They are written, they are prepared, and when I can get to them, one day I will. And I'm happy that I have those, because those give me a clear goal of one day I'm going to get to this script. But now it's just focusing on what is the things that I can make happen, even if I do have to do like you are doing, Luke. If I have to crowdfund some stuff to be able to make a film, I will. But it's getting to the point like, okay, I have those amazing ideas that I have.
Well,
hold
off on that too, because like it hasn't been the success so far that we want it to be. You know what I mean? So,
but I'm just saying, like, there's stages, and I think that's one thing. Like you were saying, like, don't get hung up on the numbers. I agree, but sometimes you also got to be aware. Like I have literally 2 films written that I know it's like these are no matter what a later down the road day. Like I will make these one day, but it's not now. And then I have plenty of others that I'm going to, because they're within my capabilities right now.
Yeah. Don't sell yourself short, though.
You aren't realizing the epic fantasy that I have written, bro.
I mean, you are short, but don't sell yourself short.
I ain't short. I'm fun size.
Yeah, I can go on for a long ass time talking about all the stuff I had ideas from, or stuff that inspired me to do different things.
Nah, but that's pretty much it. We all have a passion for it. We all have our favorite movies and our favorite directors, our favorite writers, favorite things that get us after it. You take a little bit from everything, right? And then you just
make it into your own.
Yeah, you make it into your own. You put it out there, and you just kind of see what people think. Not everything is going to be a winner, but even the non-winners that people are like, hey, that sucked. Like, you still never know. You still do it. Maybe your 5 people said that it sucked, but the next 100 are like, this is amazing. This is also subjective too. Like, that's the other thing. Art is very subjective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody likes it now, but who knows what happens when I'm done? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But my biggest thing is just is like the success that it may or may not have is second to just me being able to do it and say that I did it.
Yeah. I think one of my biggest fears, considering what my big passion project right now, is people making the note that this is a lot very similar to another certain something. Because as years go on, I realize that my passion project has a lot of similarities with season 4 of Stranger Things, and that scares me a little. Like unintentionally. Like I was thinking of this before I even watched Stranger Things too.
Mm-hmm.
Which Morgan, you know, because I told you about all this, and you were at the same time telling me I should try Stranger Things.
Well, that's the other thing that sucks. The longer you take getting it done, is that there's a good chance that somebody's going to come out with something that's pretty fucking similar.
Yeah.
So,
I also
I'm a momentum person. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard me say this before. But when things are going and you're in that creative process and things are flowing, keep going. Don't stop, because the biggest thing that happens is you stop and you never fucking come back to it. And like Brian and I have had to fight that too on this thing. It's like things have happened. Things have gotten slow to a fucking standstill, but we still get back together and go, all right, what are we going to do when things do get running? And then that process starts, and then it feeds into another thing, and then we make the campaign, and then we start reaching out to people, and now we're here, and it's like it still builds up and it keeps going. But like, follow that. If you're going, if you're on a roll, stay on that fucking roll.
Also, I want to say this too. I want to make anime openings too. I mean, not actually anime, but kind of edit them together and stuff like that.
That's one thing I wish I had. I wish I had the capabilities of animation. I am eventually going to be working on learning stuff for Unreal Engine 5. That way I can utilize that also for filmmaking, because it's happening a lot in filmmaking now. But as you guys know, I also am working on a story of a video game right now with a buddy of mine to release eventually. So yeah, that I'm learning it for that, but hopefully also to utilize in the realm of filmmaking. So that excites me. Because if I can get to the point of like crazy Unreal Engine stuff, then I can be like, hey, that crazy epic fantasy I've written might be more obtainable now that I have this knowledge. So
if I could, I want to make a Spider-Verse opening based off of the Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 opening.
Oh,
the
sick.
Specials. Like I got that to the point where I thought to myself, yeah, this character will be here, this will be there, this character will be doing this, he's fighting this person. Like actually, that's another thing. Sometimes when I have an idea in my head, I kind of go a little harder than I should. Especially some time ago where I dead ass created my own Jujutsu Kaisen character. And like went into like, okay, I can do this, this is my binding vow, this is what my domain expansion looks like and how it works. I ended up using an engine to figure out what I would call it. Like I do get pretty passionate about some stuff at random, and then I'm like, I'm glad I did that. Because it ended up paying off for different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, I know I can beat a dead horse by listing off every single thing that has inspired me to get into it, and I won't for your sake.
I appreciate where the conversation went, though. That was fun. It was fun.
So, any other things you want to say before we wrap up today's episode?
Yes, you are doing me a solid and are going to create something for me that maybe will show up next week.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Okay. Potentially. I won't say anything more than that. I'm looking forward to talking to you more about that and getting you what you need so you can help us out some more. That's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, I said the fact that you even gave me the time to plug the movie and plug the crowdfunder is fantastic. So thank you. And guys, seriously, just give a little
check it out. Check it out, please.
You are doing us the biggest of solids, even if you just look at it. Like that's awesome. So thank you.
That link is in chat right now, guys. So you can help support Luke's feature-length horror film that he's currently working on. Is currently in production by clicking that link. If you can donate, that's amazing. But if not, just share it, because getting it out there to other people helps. And you never knew who it'll end up coming
in
across.
Production. Like holy shit! Like that's I gotta pinch myself sometimes. Seriously, like I am making a movie. It is happening. We talk about it. We're about it. We want to do it. It's happening. Mm-hmm. It is happening.
And
seriously, check it out, and also go check out Guardian of Ballet 2. Greatest movie ever.
Check out Guardian of Ballet 2. Hell yeah! Check out Guardian of Ballet 2. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody
can't wait to plug that some more.
Keeping on just the quick talk of Crawl Space, there will be stuff on the socials coming soon, and we will, as it comes out and there's more stuff out, we know that you will know that over here on Wannabes we're going to be pushing it out, because I mean it's Luke's movie, and we're doing what the namesake of our At the moment, it's not being a wannabe filmmakers. We are being filmmakers. So,
Hell yeah.
you know, it's going to be over here on the show. That's for sure.
And can't wait to show it to everybody and actually find out what you guys really think.
All right, everybody. But for now, I'm Morgan. That's Luke, and that's Dreaded. And we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight here on the Wannabes podcast. You can catch us on our social medias by looking up Podcast Wanna or Wannabes Podcast. We show up by looking us up either way on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. That way you know when we're going live and what we're discussing. Usually it's reviewing movies, and we post on there that way you know what we're going to be doing. That way you can be in the know and in the chat talking about it all with us. But yeah, make sure you tune into our YouTube because we're also live on YouTube every Wednesday. So that means head on over there, hit subscribe, ding dong that bell to get notifications. That way, if you don't want to be on Twitch, you can be over there. And also, there's no ads on YouTube right now, depending on your subscription or if you have ad blocker. So
there you go.
Yeah. But everybody, thank you again for your support, and please go support Luke's film as well. But until next time, unless you guys have anything else to say.
Nope.
All right.
Popcorn.
Guys,
don't forget
next
it.
time,
Otherwise,
don't forget that popcorn. Otherwise, I'll be a mad mama. But for now, guys, have a good night. Peace out.